Hello and welcome. Hello and welcome to this Facebook Live of CNN News 18. We are marking and celebrating World Pilot Day today. And joining me today are four inspiring women pilots of India. So it's an honor to talk to you today on World Pilot Day. It's an honor to have all of you on the same panel. Perhaps for the first time in recent years, we have all our domestic airline represented here, and all the women pilots on the same panel. So it's a pleasure to have all of you. Welcome to this Facebook Live.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you,
so much,
Zaiba.
Eva. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
We have Captain Zoya Agrawal from Air India. We know her as one of the women pilots, the one who captained that flight, the longest Asian flight. We also have Captain Veena from Indigo. We have Captain Lata from Vistara. We have Captain Akansha from SpiceJet. All of them accomplished senior pilots and inspiring in their own right. And there are so many young girls out there who look up to you, who dream of flying high, looking at your success, looking at your journey. So that's what we're going to talk about today. It's been a tough year. It's been a challenging year. You know, the coronavirus pandemic has hit us all hard. In fact, even as we speak, the country is going through a really tough time. There are families who are desperately seeking help. Our infrastructure is overburdened. Health workers, on the front line, are the ones who are truly overstretched. But at the same time, all of you have also been on the front lines. You've been frontline workers. You have been, part of this entire journey of India's fight against coronavirus. So we're going to talk about that as well, because the last 1 year has been filled with challenges for each one of us. And for you especially, there have been new challenges and new demons to tackle, new ways to fly, new protocols to follow. There's lots that has changed in the past 1 year, and we shall touch upon all of that. So first of all, I think we'll just begin by asking each one of you, what was the biggest challenge that you faced in the past 1 year? So perhaps we can start with Captain Lata.
Sure. Hi, I'm glad to be here with you all today. And recognizing Captain Zoya's North Pole flight, I was inspired myself by her North Pole flight. And I'm happy to be with all of you here. In the last 1 year, I was transitioning from as an Airbus 320 captain. I used to be an Airbus 320 line training captain, rather. And from there, I was transitioning onto the Boeing 787. I was fortunate to be chosen on the Boeing 787. Largely, I should say, the challenge as such was to do with the training, and that can be huge by itself. You know, the simulator training and then the ground training and the line training. So the extra protocol to follow and make sure that you're still wearing your masks. You can't get rid of the masks, and you'll still have to maintain social distancing. With all the protocol, continuing to get the best quality of the training was the challenge, but which I think we overcame, and we came out successfully in that. Thank you.
Following the protocol was, I think, one of the biggest challenges, and also learning about this new normal and making it a part of our lives. And for you professionally, I'm sure it was a big challenge to tackle. What about Captain Zoya? What was the biggest challenge for you in this pandemic year, apart from that big achievement?
I'm sorry, you were intermittent over there. Could you repeat?
Captain Zoya, am I audible now?
I mean, this,
I think she's facing a bit of a network issue. I think we should, Captain Zoya, are you set? This always happens. We're still learning to work remotely and to do these kind of lives. There are pros and cons of it. All right, I think she's going to take a bit to set up. So we're going to go with Captain Akansha. Tell us, what were the biggest challenges for you?
There were quite a few challenges, like Captain Lata said, following the protocols and implementing them when you're flying. Apart from the fact that you have to get used to it, it changes the cockpit environment slightly. I'm not saying it makes it worse, but it's definitely a change that takes time getting used to. And apart from that, the fact that you're not flying too often, flying has definitely reduced. So flying has, knowledge. There's a some part of it is knowledge, the other part is skills. So as long as you're not using your skills and honing them every day, you tend to go back to the books more often. You'll have to keep brushing up on your knowledge part. I think most of us, it's not like you forget, but most of us would like to stay current in that way, so that at least you don't keep feeling that you're missing out on something when you're not flying. I think that was a big change. And of course, like she said, the protocols. I think that made it difficult coming back to it. Most of us who were doing cargo flying were flying at least about, say, 2 to 3 times a week. But there were people who were not cargo cleared, right? So
Hmm.
there was a point of 2 months where there was no passenger flying. There were people who flew after that. I can't even imagine. Like, even after a week or 10 days, you feel like you're not lagging behind, but you always have that feeling that something is missing. And I, as a captain, I shouldn't be saying that, I know, but you have to be very sure about everything, right? So 2 months, my heart really goes out to them that they persevered, they stuck it out, and they were back to flying in no time.
Well, yes, I think that 2 month long unprecedented shutdown of operations, that was clearly a big setback to the
That was,
entire
yeah, that was a
sector.
very big setback, yeah.
And as pilots, you had your own, demons to fight. And of course, the cargo operations, the Vande Bharat mission, these were times when people were really petrified of the virus, but you were still on the front lines. You were taking those fights. You were part of the mission. So, commendable feat on that. And thank you for your service. Captain Zoya, I think you're back.
Yes, I'm back. I'm back with a
Good to
bang.
see you back. Good to see
Firstly,
you back.
Zeba, thank you so much for having me out here in the company of these beautiful, stellar women, all trailblazers and inspirers out here. So, wishing every single pilot on this platform a very happy World Pilots Day. So, coming back to the pandemic, it has been a challenging time for the aviation industry, but I think everybody, all my colleagues out here would agree with me that I think India has not faced the kind of pandemic challenge like the rest of the world has. We have seen friends all across the globe, our colleagues all across the globe losing their jobs, and that has been really heartbreaking because in India we still have held our fort with the aviation industry with the Vande Bharat mission, which was the government of India initiative. I think our government has been really a rock solid support behind the aviation industry in these testing times. But just to see global collapse around you of the aviation industry was indeed heartbreaking. And then, of course, when we would operate onto missions like Vande Bharat mission, yes, there are risks to be taken, but we all cannot sit at home because somebody has to go out there and work, right? We have to get our brothers and sisters and our citizens who are stuck outside back onto our motherland. So, every single decision of ours does carry a little bit of risk, but I think all of us have been very, very responsible professionals and gone above and beyond the call of duty and contributed in our own way from Vistara, from SpiceJet, from AirAsia, from every single airline, from Indigo, of course, with us, Air India, domestic and international, both. All of us have contributed in our own ways to make the Vande Bharat mission a success. And now we are continuing that with the air bubble mission.
Well, yes, and I think the Vande Bharat mission, when it kicked at that time, there was certainly a big patriotic sense to it because we were bringing back Indians who are stranded abroad at a time when the entire world was gripped with this vicious virus, which still is not leaving us.
Yes.
Captain Veena, you have an Indian
Yeah.
Air Force background. You have been part of rescue missions previously as well. For you, this time
Yeah.
around, how is it different, or did your experience really help you?
Yes, in a matter of fact, yes, it helped a lot. Why? Because as a defense personnel, you are trained to, be in this critical situation at any time of the day. So 24 hours are, that is how we have been tuned. But how the pandemic has hit, I think it didn't have a precedent, at least in our lifetime. Everybody, including our parents, grandparents, nobody had seen it so bad. So yeah, defense training definitely helped so that just to have a positive side, just to look at the positive side of the whole situation. So yeah, so being my defense background, I think my family also is attuned into the similar manner. And it was wonderful to work with my civil counterpart. Now I saw them, everybody who rose to the occasion just like a soldier. So it was excellent teamwork as being showcased by everyone, not someone from defense background, but people who have got civil background as well. So, as Captain Latika, Kanksha, and Captain Zoya have mentioned, all these problems were there, but it is how a individual condition themselves to face this any critical situation. And pandemic was huge, and it's still, and it's worse now. So I feel if every individual just do their job, irrespective, we are at the front line. Yes, there are other health workers who are there at front line. My husband is a doctor. So these things we will be able to come through it. It's just that every individual has to play their part rather than getting bogged down. Just do your job. That is, I think, helped me and my fellow colleagues as well. So that's it. Thank you.
Well, very, very well said. And I think the fact that you did mention that everybody in the civil aviation space did rise to the occasion and did take on the challenge, despite not having any such
Yeah.
background. It was a very tough time.
Yeah.
It was a challenging year. There were pay cuts. There were layoffs. Globally, the aviation sector has been
Yeah.
hit hard and continues to truly struggle to come back to any form of normalcy. So it has been a tough year.
Yeah.
And despite all of that, to put yourself on the line, to risk exposure to your family at a time when this new virus, which no one really knows anything about, has hit you.
Yeah. True.
That was clearly a very big challenge, which is why we salute you all and we call you Corona warriors. You were Corona
Thank you.
warriors in your own right. You are Corona warriors in your own right, and it's great what you've done. Do you have any of you have any experience to share? Or how was it to leave your family behind and go ahead with these missions, with these flights at a time when the country was under a lockdown? Was there a sense of guilt as well? Because as a journalist, I know it's slippery slope. Of course, I want to go out there and get the story, but at the same time, I was living with my elderly parents. I used to come back home, isolate myself, not be able to talk to them, not be able to really even shake hands with them, let alone hug them. And that was a big
True.
challenge
True.
for me. So, how was that like? Who would like to go first?
Somebody has to.
Captain
I think
Natasha.
okay,
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
start. I think that was the biggest challenge for most of us. Like, I mean, Veena, like her husband is a doctor, my parents are doctors. We were three frontline workers at home, so you can imagine the amount of distancing that was being done
Yeah.
between the three of us. I mean, I was flying, I think 23rd March or 24th March, we've been distancing from, and we still haven't stopped. It's been a year,
Yeah.
and it's insane. You go from
Yeah.
like I go from my bedroom to the house door, and then directly go for the flight, and they leave the door open when I'm back home, so I can quickly pick up my bag and run to the room and take off my uniform, put it for a wash. It becomes emotionally difficult, I would say, but you do, like ma'am said, I mean, you manage because you want to be doing something at the same time. I mean, everybody's out there, and since parents being doctors, we've been brought up in an atmosphere of, you have to do whatever. It comes from within, the having to do whatever you can to help out. So you want to do that, but at the same time, you want to stay in. You also want to be one of those people who's working from home, from the safety of their houses, curled up in a blanket. But
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
you
something
do
none
have
of
that. I
us
agree with
had the
you.
privilege to do. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so
The
that's a
banana
privilege, yes, but
breads
at the
and
same
the
time,
curling
the
up in the blanket.
feeling of, yeah, but the feeling of getting back the cargo, like such as, gloves or masks or even oxygen cylinders that we've been transporting, or vaccines for that matter, that feeling, I think, removes all that guilt that you have. It's all totally worth
True.
it. I
True.
mean,
True.
I don't
Yeah.
think there's a better feeling.
The fact that
True.
So,
you're all part of something bigger than
yeah,
yourselves, bigger
something
than
much
your
bigger. I mean,
families,
it
putting
is,
nation
yes,
first.
family obviously comes first,
Yeah.
but well, the country is family, right? Extended family, if you want to call it that. So,
Yeah.
yeah. That's, I
Lovely.
think,
We
how
we have we
beautifully
have
put.
some viewers who are congratulating all of you, saying keep it up, captains. Let's fight this together.
No,
That
no,
was
thank you
Mohammed
so
Yeah.
much.
Ali.
This is our
Absolutely.
job. It's our pleasure to do it. It's our honor, actually.
As a matter of
Tell us
fact,
about
there's so many times we go through experiences which are life altering. And I think 2020 has been nothing short of a life altering year for all of us. I think if there's one year we would love to forget, but one year which has also uh, made us learn the most in our lifetimes is 2020, you know.
Yeah, I
So
agree with
it's
that.
like a love and hate relationship, you know, for all of us. But well, love and hate, so we're gotta have both. So I remember my instance with the first flight, the repatriation flight, which was operated from the US to India. I operated San Francisco to Mumbai. I had volunteered to operate flights because, like I was mentioning earlier, somebody has to do it. If all of us sit at home, then how we ever going to, you know, run the nation, run the country? So when I operated that flight, it was Mother's Day, and I'm the only child, and it was heartbreaking for me to be away from my mother, but and my own family. But at the same time, I was thinking about so many children who were getting reunited with their mothers on that particular day. So when I did operate that flight, it was San Francisco to Mumbai. It was an extremely long flight. After landing in Mumbai, we had, you know, a huge applause in the whole cabin of the airplane. And at that time, Zeba, there was a different protocol when we got off the airplane. The COVID had, you know, that was the first international flight which had come into the country after such a long time. So they were all queued up outside for the COVID test and everything. So when I saw all of those people, and when all four of us walked past them, they all started clapping and they all had tears in their eyes. So, you know, when you have visuals like these, you don't think about you getting COVID. You don't think about anything. It's all in the greater good. It's all in the greater interest of the country, because that's what it's all about. It's your national responsibility and you got to bring it home. So it is like how Captain Akanksha was also mentioning, it is so deeply satisfying in so many ways that the thought of you doesn't even exist. It's all in the interest of the greater good, our nationals, our
Yeah.
citizens of our country, of the global citizens, you know. So it's every single bit worth it. When you see those kind of visuals, you never forget that.
Well, that is what keeps you all driven, I guess. But also, Captain
Absolutely.
Zoya, flying over the North Pole is the icing on the cake, right? Doesn't that definitely is another motivating factor. It must have been beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that happened
I'd like
much
to add
later,
to
but
that.
yes,
Um,
that happened much later, but that is the absolute cherry on the cake, absolutely. But I was just the mere orchestrator, Zeba. I'm just a tiny drop in the ocean. Behind me stands my entire country, our government, our ministry, my brilliant airline, and my, of course, three other Bharat ki betis. All four of us did it together. So I'm just a tiny drop in the ocean in this entire thing. I'm just representing all of them and extremely glad to do so. But it was an experience, and I'll probably never forget. And I think every single person on board that airplane, I can say for all of them, will never forget. That's just how electrifying and a wondrous moment how it was that particular day.
Yeah, I guess 2020 did give us these
Nice.
moments that are unforgettable. So there was of course the good and the bad attached to this year, this
Yeah, so
incredible
this
year that we
happened in
had.
2021, which is like the silver lining. So, you know, we kind of started off 2021 on a great note, which was a very positive one with the vaccinations. Unfortunately, we are caught up in the COVID wave again, but, you know, we have to be positive. We have to get through this, and we will all get through this soon.
Hopefully, let's all put our
on
collective
the
energies on that
Yes. Yeah.
and will it to happen. Truly,
True,
truly.
true,
on the
true, true.
Captain Lata,
yeah,
what was a highlight for
Ziba.
you through this last year?
Yeah, actually, on the same note, whatever Captain Zoya said, on the same note, I would say when you see other people going through so much of trouble, and your own trouble doesn't seem much at all. So you want to help as much as you can, and as much as you want to really put in your best. So what I personally do is I don't read the negative news much at all. I just read it for the sake of
Yeah,
knowing
good.
what is going
Mhm.
on. Maybe the headlines, or even I don't watch the TV much because the visuals, again and again the same visuals. It demoralizes anybody. I should say, because maybe the real picture is not that bad. So what I do is I focus on my duty, and you know that this is going to pass. Nothing stays forever. I've been a strong believer. Anything, because even your heartbeat is not a straight line, then you're dead. It goes up like that, up and down. So I feel that this is a passing phase. We have completed 1 year. Last year, we knew nothing about this. At least now we are very, very prepared. And we have so many vaccines available. So many people, I think 10% of our own citizens in the country have already taken it. 10% of the entire population, I think, already taken at least the first shot.
Not
Whenever
10%
I
because we're
take the
still far off
vaccination,
that
I
mark.
see
But we are a
around
country
Yeah.
of
here.
1.3 billion people,
True,
so it's
true,
going to
true,
take some
true.
time.
Yeah,
It'll
it's
take
gonna
time.
take
But
some time.
so, looking ahead, what are your hopes for the aviation sector? As an insider, we've been talking about how the sector has been hit hard globally. The Indian aviation space still is dealing with it in a different manner. Our domestic operations were almost back, inching
Hmm.
towards pre-COVID numbers in February. Of course, now with the second wave, it has taken a setback again. But what are your hopes from the sector in the coming year? Do you feel that it's going to be a gradual road to recovery, or do you feel, uh, a bit apprehensive towards the way it is headed? Because globally there have been layoffs and pay cuts, and even in India, of course, most airlines had to resort to pay cuts. So is that a factor that you think that keeps you up at night, that keeps you worried?
It doesn't
So,
really keep me worried if. Okay, yeah, so sorry, go ahead. Sorry. Who was
no, no,
speaking
please.
earlier? No, I personally, it doesn't keep me worried to stay up at late at night, but obviously there is some bit of worry about the future. But in a country like you said, with 1.3 billion people, air travel is emerging as one of the biggest means of travel. We are connecting, thanks to the Udan scheme and everything. We've connected very small cities to very 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 big cities. The amount of avenues that have opened up, people are as enthusiastic about air travel as ever. In fact, even more so now that they've been cooped up for what, more than almost a year and a half now. Practically, eventually it will be. So I feel that it will pick up, not very very at least as far as the domestic sector is concerned. I feel that it will not be very gradual. Like whenever we open up right now, thanks to the second wave, we have a few lockdowns across the states and everything. It makes it difficult for people to travel, and people are of course scared when you have 20,000 cases plus in a state. You will be obviously worried, but people I'm sure can see that while traveling to the airport during check-in, security checks, even while boarding, airlines and airports have amazing procedures that are in place. Distancing marks, your sanitization stations, everything that the multilingual announcements that are being made. I'm sure all the captains would agree. We have, I think, 3 or 4 announcements per flight regarding masks, sanitization, changes in SOPs for serving meals, etc. Which does, I feel, make people feel safer about it compared to what is being passed on WhatsApp messages about how COVID spreads and everything. So I feel
Yeah.
people have a very positive response as far as air travel is concerned. We don't need to be that worried as far as India is concerned, is my takeaway from it. But of course, I'm no business guru about aviation. But yeah,
But you're optimistic, and that's great.
I'm
That's
quite
good to
optimistic
hear.
Yeah,
about
yeah.
it. Yeah.
I think all of you
Yeah,
will
so the
agree that
aviation.
optimism. I can see it in your face.
Absolutely, absolutely. Especially as Captain Kanksha has mentioned, in India, what has opened up is tier 2 and tier 3 cities connection. So that is going to help a
Hmm.
lot, and especially for people who cannot sit back at home and work, and people need to travel. So at least that for that necessary travel, whenever the cities are connected, we are going to get our loads. But
Hmm.
a rise cannot be steep. Yes, that's what I feel, and nothing to sulk about it or worry about it, because we are, I'll say it's a one team. So if I'm taking a pay cut, somebody else is also taking a pay cut. So we know how to survive in lesser means. So that is
Hmm.
what 2020 and this 1 year, and I hope it doesn't extend much more than this. It is a
Yeah.
takeaway that how to survive. We as a human being, we have a survival instinct. So not to let go that down. At the same time, the aviation business, I think it's the safest mean of travel. The kind of if people follow the protocol, this is the
Hmm.
safest mean of travel. You can't ensure this kind of cleanliness at other transportation. So I think people will come forward, and the kind of passengers that we see, people are coming forward. And see people from rural area traveling in, aircraft. So I think it's
Yeah.
a very, very positive outlook towards future of aviation. And I'm sure all our respective companies are doing their best to cater for passenger needs, have the safety protocols, and at the same time pay us also. So that's I think it's a team effort for every department. Yeah.
Well, certainly. Let's hope that we're able to win this battle against coronavirus, especially this deadly second wave, so that the
True.
aviation
True.
sector, like all other sectors, can also once again look at getting back to pre-COVID numbers, to a sense of normalcy
Yeah.
once again. Okay, we've talked
I,
about the pandemic. I think we've had a very serious discussion so far. So let's keep it light now. I'd like to
Yeah.
I
know
think
from all
I
of
would
you
like
what
to
it's
add on a
like to
global
be.
level, Zeba. In
Yeah,
India, firstly, we talk about pay cuts. Yes, they all affect us greatly, right? But if you keep a very broad perspective, what one thing which our government has done, which is amazing, is that there have been no job cuts, which is prevalent all across the world. So when you think from that perspective, a little bit of percentage here and there, if you think you even have to kind of let go for some time, it's not so bad. I think that is why I keep on coming back to Indian aviation sector. We have been very fortunate, all of us who are working over here in India. So
True.
we are very, very fortunate not to have had those harsh means being subjected on. So having said that, we will recover. Yes, pay cuts is something that is there. It's today, it's for a few more days, it's for some more time. But I'm sure as an industry, once we start getting back, I am absolutely positive we will get back to it. So that is a hope of positivity right there. And I'm pretty sure, like Captain Akanksha was saying, people have been locked up and they are
Yeah.
just raring to go. Give them their vaccination, which, again, we all are pretty much 18 plus, 1st of May, all of us are entitled to. People
that's
are
certainly
going
a
to
ray of
travel.
hope.
You're going to
Definitely.
see a
Yeah.
surge. So
Yeah.
it's just going to happen so fast that, like, we were already pre-pandemic 80%, and we're going to get back to pre-pandemic levels very, very soon post our vaccinations. Also, if you talk about globally, things have changed a lot. Like, I've been seeing global stations since the very time the pandemic started. I have been witnessing the changes. And now, post the vaccinations, there's a huge change in the way things are globally. You're talking about 7.6 billion people. So, when those
That's
kind
true.
of statistics are going to be in place with the vaccinations going, which every country is pushing forward with, we are definitely going to see a surge in the global aviation industry. So,
Vaccine
good
is
times
certainly
are
the
going
ray
to
of
come up.
hope. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Vaccination
It's
is the light at the end of the tunnel, I feel, because yes, we've seen
True.
encouraging numbers coming in from the US, from the UK. As soon as they have vaccinated a sizable chunk
yes,
of their population, they are
yes,
witnessing, a semblance of normalcy return to their lives. So we should
absolutely.
definitely focus our energy on vaccinating as many
Exactly.
Indians as possible. True.
Yeah.
So
And I would
I
like to
think we're
add,
gonna be
Zeba, yeah,
sure.
just for the, yeah, as you rightly mentioned, the hope is vaccination. But even if people get vaccinated, it's just the request that please follow the protocol.
Yeah,
It's an
please.
unknown territory.
Definitely. Yeah.
It doesn't mean if people are vaccinated, it's a walk in the park now.
100%
No,
surety
it's
of
the response.
prevention. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, if as an individual, you just need to be a responsible citizen, that's it is required. So, if
Yeah.
that
I
is
think
That's
done, the
very
global
half the
second
important.
battle
wave
is
is
won.
giving us. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very, very
Yeah,
important.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
So,
I
just be
think we're short
responsible
on
citizen.
time
Yeah,
now. We're short
yeah.
on time. I would love to go on and on because all you lovely ladies and inspiring women, we can just go on and on with this conversation. But I'd
Yeah,
like to
thank you.
quickly wrap this up. Before that, I want to know what is the best part about being a pilot for all of you? Because all these young girls who are looking up to you, wanting to be a pilot, they'd like to know what is the best thing about being a pilot for you personally.
Oh.
Well, you get the bird's eye view, first of all. You can see
Of
the
course.
earth.
Yeah, the views are the best. There I agree.
That's the best.
Yeah, I
And
can only say this. Um, what I'd like to say is it gives me a high. Flying gives me a high. If some people can relate to it, something gives you a high, let's say for some people. Flying gives me a high. So that's the best part. I think for all, not only for me, I think for all the pilots here, I'm sure they would agree that there is a high in it. So you don't need anything else. You just fly and take off into the skies, and there you are. That's the
Yeah,
Flying
I
best
guess
part
high.
about flying.
it's the adrenaline for me also. I mean, that feeling of spotting the runway and landing every time, especially when it's a new field. Oh my God, it's the most marvelous feeling
Yeah,
in the world. There's nothing better when you go when you spot it, identify it, and you're going to make it. It's I mean, the adrenaline rush is just insane. I don't think there's anything better. Totally go for it. Whoever wants to, girls, boys, everybody. Aviation, I think, is the best
absolutely,
career there is.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
having
think the
having
thrill
seen
of
the military flying as well as the civil flying, military flying, we had the opportunity to roll the aircraft in all the dimension, and in civil, it's more about safety and going from place A to place B. But no matter which entry you make, you come, you join military or you join civil aviation, you do join a flying club or charter, wherever you go. Just whenever you're airborne, you're in three dimension. It's a different feeling altogether. So what job you are doing is different, but once you are in the cockpit, what is behind you is same. It doesn't matter. It's a bigger, smaller, what kind of plane it is. So my just
Yeah.
one advice will be whoever can fly, please give in your best, try it, and then sky is the limit. That's what I can say.
Certainly,
I think,
certainly.
right from the time we all don our uniforms at home to the time, when we are walking out, when those tiny eyes, so many of those eyes at the airport are trailing us, right? Like they're always looking at us, and some parents will
Absolutely.
come and they'll talk to you. My daughter wants to become a pilot. Right from the impact that you're creating from the word go to the time when you
Yeah.
go and sit down on your seat. And, we never have a fixed schedule. We never have the very fact that there is nothing fixed about this. Every moment is changing. Every day is a different day. Every destination is different. Every decision you make is different. Every environment is different. The very fact, like how everything is so diverse, I love the diversity of this. So it's just very interesting because it challenges your mind. It gives you 10,000 opportunities every single moment to learn, to evolve, to grow as a person, and challenge yourself every single moment. So I think that is what is truly amazing about our job as well.
And
Final
you get to
final
travel.
words from all of
You
you.
get to travel days, great distances. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You get to travel the world if you're flying
Yeah.
international as well. Yeah. All right. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
final words from you. What is your message to young Indians looking up to you, wanting to see themselves have a career in aviation as pilots, perhaps, especially girls, because being women pilots, it's a different story altogether. That you're inspiring to a whole new bunch of people. Because until recently, it was still largely a male-dominated space. But now, of course, we have so many women pilots out there flying high.
I would say follow your calling. Dare to dream it. You follow your dreams, be it flying or in general, I would say for anything, and in particular for pilots as well, male or female. I don't want to single out separately. Now, follow your dreams and dare to dream it, and strive to achieve it. This is what I would say, because it's not
Beautiful.
it is a very serious job, and you need a lot of discipline and commitment to be successful. And you also have to be well-rounded in the sense you'll have to take your family along, and you'll have to be successful in every sphere, not just professionally. So put in your best and go for it, and dare to dream it, strive to achieve it. That's what I would say.
Wonderful. Dare to dream it, strive to achieve it. Captain Natansha.
I would totally agree with ma'am here. Whatever it is, be it flying or otherwise, but especially for flying, if you really want to do it, go for it. Just close your eyes, make a decision, find a good school, of course, of flying. And I would like to say it's not that difficult. There is this notion out there. There's a lot of exams as far as the DTC and everything is concerned. Please reach out to other pilots. get as much information as you can through social media, or otherwise even airlines you can talk to. There are a billion cadet programs these days. Go for it. Don't think about it. Don't think about the job market. If you really have been wanting to do it, I've wanted to be a pilot since I was a child. So I'm very happy. I have no complaints. Please go for it. It's the best. Like there is no, it's an indescribable feeling. Like everybody's just told you different viewpoints about the best part about the job. I think all of them are the best. I would not be able to pick and choose out of them. So yeah, that's my message for everyone out there.
Captain Zoya, what about you? In a line, what do you feel is something that you'd like to say to all these young aspiring pilots?
India has very, very high percentage, and I'm extremely proud that my dreamers out there, they have really pursued their dreams, and we have gone to 12.4%, but we would like to see that percentage going higher. So I would like to tell every single person who dreams out there, as I often say, that every great reality in this world begins with that one dream, which we all dream, right? So, and that dream begins with a great dreamer, and that dreamer lies in all of you, whosoever is watching. So, stay dreaming, focus on your dream, work hard towards it, and you will achieve it. Because there is nothing impossible. It's always I am possible. So,
Yeah.
read it like that.
Lovely. Captain Veena, what about you?
Yeah, so as Captain Lata, Captain Akanksha, and Captain Soya has mentioned and very rightly put up that dream. And my one liner will be just don't give up, because most of the people what they face is a financial hurdle. There are many who are fortunate, you can get a good backing for to have those funds for your training. But there are many who give up just because they have capability, but they give up because of the financial constraint. So my advice to them, there are many people, live example in my company in Indigo, and I'm sure in other company as well. People have not joined as a pilot; they have joined as a ground staff. Funded their own flying. They have traveled daily 6 hours, 7 hours just to a flying club, did their duty, came back. So hard work is, don't give up. Put in the hard work. It doesn't matter where you start from. Just keep your eyes focused on the goal. That is what is important. And enjoy the journey. Don't give up. Don't jump the gun. Don't jump directly on the 10th step. You have to take step
Yeah,
by step. Take baby steps, and life will be amazing. It doesn't matter even if you don't make it. I'm sorry, I'm just telling that because we are meant to do something. Our job is to just the way a machine is running, just keep on doing, and you will
true.
change your destiny. It's in your hands. So just don't give up. Thank you.
Very important message. Very important message. And I mean, I am honored to host this panel. Keep inspiring, ladies. Keep shining. Keep flying high. And thank you so much for speaking to us. And once again, a very happy World Pilot Day to you and to all those dreamers out there. And the
Thank
one
you.
message that I think the entire
Thank
panel
you.
has
Thank
sent
you.
to all of you is that if you have a dream, chase it, follow it, and strive to achieve it.
Yes.
And with that,
Thank you.
I think we come to the end of this Facebook chat. You can find this online as well. It will be uploaded on our YouTube page. It will be available on Twitter as well. So share it with your friends. I'm sure they all would love to hear from these inspiring Powerpuff Girls of Indian aviation. Thank you so much, ladies. Thank you so much. Have a
Thank
nice day.
you.
Stay safe.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
so much.
Seva.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank you
much
so
for
Thank
much.
you,
having
Have a
us.
Captain.
Have a
nice
good
Thank
day.
you.
day.
Thank you.
I think